All right, so system word problems. Generally, when you tell people that you're going to be solving word problems, they kind of moan and groan. And I promise you, these are not that bad. Actually, if you've been solving the systems that I've been asking you to solve, I think these are pretty straightforward. I think these are really easy to set up, and then if you know how to solve a system, they're easier to solve than the ones that we've been doing. There's not all the negatives that you're going to have to deal with. So just kind of watch me set up this first one. I kind of categorize these into two different days uh, based on the complexity of the system you're going to have to solve. I think this set is pretty straightforward, and the other ones you kind of have to finagle it a little bit to get it to work out better. So this is, like I said, really straightforward. The sum of two numbers, so I don't know what these two numbers are. So I'm going to come up with two variables, x and y. You can literally use any two letters of the alphabet. So the sum of two numbers is 64. So x plus y is 64. The difference of the same two numbers, so I'm going to subtract them this time, is 10. You just built your system. They're set up where the y's are going to cancel out when you add the columns. So when I do that, x plus x is 2x. The y's cancel. 64 and 10 is 74. Divide by 2. And I got my x value to be 37. That's it. You're halfway done. So to get the y value, you take your x value and plug it back into one of your two equations. Most people will go to the top one because it has the addition in it instead of subtraction. Whoops, that should be a y, not an x. The nice thing about system word problems is they're not lines. You're literally trying to come up with two numbers. You don't have to put these in an ordered pair for your answer. So when I subtract 37 from both sides, I got my y value to be 27. These should be really easy to check too, because take the two numbers and add them together to see if you get 64, subtract them and see if you get 10. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, the sum of two numbers is -5. Yes, it is possible for numbers to add up to be negative. Their difference is 15. The number problems, I'm calling these number problems because you're trying to come up with two numbers, are super straightforward because it's x plus y, x minus y. So 2x is this time 10. That means that my x value is 5. Plug that back in. 5 plus y equals -5. So when I subtract it off, my y value is -10. Okay, again, you can check them. If you add those, 5 plus -10 is -5. 5 minus -10 is +15. Okay, the number problems are just super easy to set up and they're really straightforward to solve. The other kind that I'm throwing in here with these, come on. There we go. The other one, I'm calling these price problems. You will possibly get decimals on these as part of your answer because you're dealing with money, how much something costs. If you get a decimal, it should terminate after two decimal places. So like 1.25 for $1.25. If you get some sort of funky repeating decimal, that's your clue that you made a mistake. But if you get a terminating two decimal place decimal, if it goes to the nearest hundredth, you're good. So I think these are pretty straightforward to set up too. Solving them might take a little bit more work, but setting these up, basically take a sentence and translate that into a system. So my first sentence is 6 cartons of milk and 2 hamburgers cost $12. So here's what I'm going to set up. 6 cartons of milk and 2 hamburgers cost $12. I use variables that help me keep track of what I'm solving for. If I use X's and Y's, I have to keep track of, okay, which one's the milk price, which one's the hamburger price. If I use M and H, it's pretty helpful to use variables that make sense. My second sentence, 3 cartons of milk and 5 hamburgers cost $18. Find the price of each item. So when we get our solution is going to be a dollar amount. Maybe dollars and cents, but the answer will be $1. So dollar signs are needed here. So I'm going to take my bottom equation and I'm going to multiply that guy by -2. So give myself a little room here. 6 milks, 2 hamburgers is $12. And then my bottom equation is now -6 minus 10 equals negative 36. Okay. You hopefully will only have to multiply one of the equations, but you might have to do both. It just kind of depends on what you're given. So add up your columns here. The m's are going to cancel. The h's, I get negative 8 is negative 24. So when I divide here, I get a hamburger was $3. Okay. The nice thing about these price problems is there will be no negatives. You can't have a negative price for something. So my hamburgers being $3, great. I'm going to take that value and plug it back into either one of my original equations. I'm going to go to the top one here. So 6m plus 2 times 3 is 12. So subtract out 6. That's a whole lot of 6s. So it looks like a milk is $1. On the number problems and these price problems, there's no need to give your answer in parentheses as an ordered pair. Okay, they're not ordered pairs. These aren't points. All right, I'm going to run through this one real quick. Just there's decimals, they're numbers. You can work with them. Don't be afraid to do the normal math here. So 7 pizzas and 2 orders of breadsticks are $34.50, and 1 pizza and 1 order of breadsticks costs $8.50. So I'm going to take my bottom equation times negative 2. Don't be afraid to use scratch paper for these. You kind of have to work them out by hand. There's really not a way to avoid that. So negative 2 times $8.50 is negative 17. So when I add those up, 5 pizzas is $17.50. So I've got a pizza to be $3.50. That's probably worse than Little Caesars pizza. Okay, so pizza's $3.50. Take that value. I'm going to plug it back into the bottom equation because my multipliers are 1. So I don't have to do as much work if I go to the bottom equation. So I've got a pizza is $3.50. And an order of breadsticks is $8.50. These must be really good breadsticks because an order of breadsticks is $5. Okay, pizza's $3.50, breadsticks $5. Again, you don't need to put it as an ordered pair. Okay, take your time. Don't worry about decimals. Decimals are okay for answers as long as they are two decimal places if they end in the nearest hundreds. If you get something that repeats and goes on forever, that's where you've probably made a mistake. Go back and check your work.